My name is Andrew Stotz, and I want to welcome you to our Careers in Finance discussion that we've got today. I have a special guest that I'm looking forward to learning more about. She's in a lot of places around on social media, and I think we'll learn a little bit about what she's doing in her career in finance. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her on right now. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Fa.
And I mute myself. Yeah, good day, everyone. Nice to see you all. Thanks for having me here.
Yes.
And
So let's start off by just telling us, what do you do? Tell us about your career in finance right now.
if I have to explain, I would say that I'm a independent financial planner. And by holding a certification called CFP, it leads me to various kind of roles that I can do. Like first of all, I'm a personal advisor, financial advisor for my clients, and I also host and like I don't know if I call it correctly, but it's like a online TV show, something like
Mhm.
about to provide the information about personal finance. And I also got my own book published and got the online courses. Uh, got a chance to be a lecturer, something like that.
So
Yeah.
what kind of people, what kind of people do you serve? Who is the ideal person that comes to you and says, "Help me"?
I think it can be anyone because the fact is that we all relate to money in some kind of way. So um, but mostly most of my clients, they are like the a like employee in the private firm, something like that, and also the people in special kind of professions like legal, like the people who work in law firms, something like that, and also the doctor, something like that. Yeah,
I
it is
do you
quite
call
a broad range of kind of people. Yeah.
and I see that you call them jobbers. Is that what
Yeah,
you call them?
well, it's just the name of my book, yeah, but yeah, it's the word jobbers that can be described
So
broadly.
tell us a little bit about your book, why you wrote it, and what was your goal with what you wrote.
I think it because it's a topic that I'm quite really relate to it mostly. Like when I also a jobber, like when I enter into the world of jobber, it's quite challenging. It's a time that you have money by your own and you have to learn to manage it, and about the tax, about something that you need to figure it all out at the same time when you once enter into the adulthood. Yeah, and I think it's quite complicated and challenging, and especially if for someone is who is not in the industry of the finance, it might be so challenging for them. So I think the book that is written about personal finance according to the world of jobbers would be useful, I guess.
Mm. So
Yeah.
let's say that I'm an engineer or an architect or a doctor. I'm making good money and I'm making good cash. I've had some bad experiences, maybe following a broker that told me to buy this or that, or a friend. So I'm kind of careful. I put my money in the bank. I know I need to start investing, but I'm really don't know where to start. Um,
Yeah.
what type of how would you what would be the steps that you would take a person like that through in your in your
Mm.
service and the way you think about things?
As I'm a financial planner, so the thing that I want my clients to focus at the very first step on managing their money is that they need to figure out what is their financial goal. Like if you start with just I don't know where I can put my money, so maybe this, maybe that. Sometimes you might gonna get lost along the way. But if you have the very clear picture about the financial goal, and then you will set the goal and then set the method to get into to complete your goal, and it will be like you can get so much clearer picture about that. Yeah, so at the first I would like I would be suggest them to picture about what is why money will be so matter for them, like maybe if they are not have the something that is specific about their goal, I might suggest them to think about their retirement life, and then instead about the number that they need to achieve in the very long term. Yeah, it might be start with the goal of the retirement plan, something like that.
You know, some people, when they talk to me about investing, they ask, you know, like, I want to buy a house in 3 years, and then I want to buy a car in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, don't talk to me, because I don't really think about finance that way. And that's why I'm not really an advisor, because I don't really like giving like individual advice, because I just get annoyed sometimes. Because when I look at it, basically, I only see one thing, and that is build a portfolio, contribute to it, and don't take money out of it, and let it grow for 40 years. And
I
then you'll thank me.
I see. I think is how is why our industry is beautiful for me. Like we work from different aspects from different kind of view, so that why we can help the people in some different kind of way. Like my job is about talking to the individuals, like look into their goals, look into their plans individually. But for you, I guess, like as a financial analyst, might be looking from another way, from another view, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the industry needs, and this is a good thing about the careers in finance, is that there's a place
Yeah.
for everybody. And I think that there's a lot of people that need, you know, someone like yourself that can help them bring all the
Mm.
pieces together. Um, I was I was never really that interested in it. Like, I wasn't interested in tax planning. I didn't think that
Mm.
much about. I just thought, you know, I just most interested in thinking about investing. And so part of,
Mm.
you know, you're involved with Phenomena, and that's one of the things I've enjoyed about Phenomena relationship, is that I can just bring my very narrow
Yeah.
interests to people. And I think for the people out there that are watching and listening, that's what I think a lot of it's about, is trying to figure out what's your place. Because when I watch your, you know, your, I see you sometimes on Instagram as an example, and I see your
Uh-huh.
videos. I think you're just, you know, you're suited for this. You're in the area that you really enjoy, and you like the communication. But maybe you can just talk about the idea of fit, like finding the career that really fits your
Mm.
skills and your interests.
Yeah, thanks a lot. First of all, I don't know if all the audience might notice that I'm a bit nervous here, because I want you all to know that this is our first time talking, like official talk, like
Mm.
because before this we just like text
Yep.
through DM, Instagram DM, and I have to I have to be honest to tell you that I'm quite shocked. Like I don't even know that how could you recognize my existence, Andrew? Like because you are the top tier financial analyst, and everyone at Phenomena of course know you. But like for me, I don't even know how could you know me? How could you get me here? Yeah, thanks a lot. It's
Yeah.
very
Well, first of all,
pleasure.
you're connected to me through Chachara, who also
Oh,
is.
yeah.
And
People.
so that's one way. And then I think there was a time when you posted something about, you know, attending one of the
Oh.
presentations that I did. And so that was kind of the beginning. But I just thought, you know, I saw the energy that you're bringing, and I just felt like it's a great story to bring, you know, out there, because I think the idea of finding what fits for you is so critical. And I think for young people, they really they're trying to find something that they think is right for them, maybe that their parents say is right for them, maybe that their friends say. But, you know, the discovery process of finding out what's really the right
Mm.
fit for you, that's kind of what I would love to hear, you know, a little bit more about. Did you, from the day that you started working in the world of finance, was it a fit, or did you have to try different things?
I don't know. I think I'm lucky. Like being a financial advisor is my first official job that after I graduated from law school, and after it, I found myself enjoying talking to my client, and by being an individual personal financial advisor, I got to engage with the real life of someone. Like I see the growing step of their life, and I think is the value of my job. Yeah. And how about you, Andrew? Like, I think, have you ever have a time that you have to think to yourself that you will go to this or that way, or you just like go straight through the path to be an analyst?
Well, I like to tell people that I didn't find the job of an analyst until I was 28,
28. Mm.
which meant that all the jobs that I did before
Mm.
that, I didn't, they were okay. I worked for Pepsi for 3 years in manufacturing and management and operations.
Mm.
I taught finance for a year at university full time here in Thailand, back in 1992. And and I just I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't even know I wanted to be an analyst.
Mm.
I just was teaching finance, and then I saw the stock market was going up in Thailand, so I was here in Thailand. So I saw an ad, and I just I went and did an interview with the guy, and he hired me. And that was 30 years ago, and
Wow.
that guy is one of my best friends, and he and I have both gone separate ways. We only worked together about 6 months, but we built a friendship and a relationship over many, many years. And then I can just say that the day I sat down at my job on that first day, that first week, I knew this is for me.
Really?
I am an analyst.
You will have like the idea that just pop up to tell you that this is the right one, just like that.
It just fit,
Mm.
and it was just right for me. And I was like, I was hungry to learn, and I had the skills to learn, and I was writing, every day, and I was learning about the market. I had my education in finance. I started digging around and learning everything I could. And very quickly I became, a leading analyst in the banking sector in those days. And so I just really enjoyed every minute of it. I still do. And when I teach in the valuation masterclass, and I teach the students, I try to teach them about the mind of an analyst.
Mm.
And a mind of an analyst is basically believe nothing, believe no one, demand evidence.
That's good for you. It's like the path of the dream job for everyone. Mm.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think, we're all searching for, is trying to find our place in this world where we contribute the most. I think one of the other lessons I've learned is that the best motivation in life is intrinsic motivation,
Mm.
where we're contributing and we're doing the things that we really like to do. We feel good about what we're doing, and
Mm.
there's no amount of money that can get true intrinsic motivation. And I think what's happening in this world is that a lot of people think that you can motivate people through money and KPIs and things like that. But ultimately, it's about finding out what is that person's strength and bringing that strength to the world, whether you're doing it within a company or whether you're doing it, on your own. And so, again, coming back to what you're doing, I think that you're bringing, that out to the world. And that's what I think most people are looking for. So
And how about, and what is your intrinsic motivation then? Like by doing this job to be an analyst, and what would you say that you fall in love with the element in your job then?
I learned that not many people do detailed work.
Mm.
Most people just take whatever they hear, and they just repeat that, or believe that. And as an analyst, what I love to do is dig deeper, and then what I love to do is try to get the facts down as best I can.
Mm.
And then what I like to do is try to lay that out, and then sit down and think about it.
Mm.
What does it mean? Where does it go? What's, that type of thing. So for instance, one of the themes that I developed and brought out to my clients for the fund management companies here in Thailand is the idea of that America is having 5 wars right now at a time.
Mm.
It's fighting 5 wars, and as a result, the debt to GDP is going to go to 150, 160% of GDP. It's going to double from where it is, or go up massively from where it is, let's say, and explain why I think that is. So that first started with trying to understand the facts and looking at data, and then putting the pieces of that puzzle together. That's what I just love to do.
Interesting.
Let's talk about another thing which I think is interesting. I wrote a book a long time ago called How to Start Building Your Wealth Investing in the Stock Market. And I wrote that for women. And
Oh,
in fact, I wrote that for 5 women,
and who are they?
my 5 nieces.
Oh.
So I was making very good money, in those days as an analyst. And when my nieces graduated from high school, I got $3,000 out of the bank here in Thailand, and I got on an airplane and I went to their high school graduation. And then when we got home from the graduation, we sat down and I said, here's your graduation gift, which is $3,000, but I'm not going to give it to you. We're going to set up an account at Vanguard, and I'm going to show you how to invest it. And that's what the book was all about, of how to do the most simple type of investing to get started, which is just simply to buy an ETF or a fund that owns every stock in the world. And at the age of 18, the idea is just pile as much money as you possibly can into that. Forget about bonds, forget about gold, forget about anything else like that. And just pile as much. And as I told them, never sell. And so that was kind of the theory of that book. Now, in that book and in my podcast, I talk about how I look at investing as create, grow, protect. And what I try to teach people is that if you go into the stock market thinking you're going to create wealth, you're going to be disappointed. The objective of the stock market is to grow wealth. It's not to say that some people don't create wealth in the stock market, but it's a place to grow wealth. Now, then the question is, where do people create wealth? Well, I think the first way that people create wealth is through business. And there's a book about this. I wouldn't say it's a great book. In fact, it's an interesting book to think about. Again, I like thinking about things in different ways. There's a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, yeah.
And this book is, for me, is just one of the worst books that's out there for personal financial advice. And the reason why is because the rich dad is a business owner. And we know that majority of people will never, I mean, not majority, 99.9% of people are not made to be business owners. So to give advice to everybody that this is how you should get rich, is bringing this advice for maybe 0.1% of the population to everybody. And I can imagine a lot of people tried to go into business and ended up failing. So that brings me to the second way that you can create wealth, and that is jobber. Well, and I have a great example of that, and that's my mom and dad. My father he had a PhD in organic chemistry. He worked in sales, and he worked for DuPont his whole career. My mother was a housewife. They raised 3 kids. My dad wasn't on a fancy salary. He was, simple thing. And they retired and had 22 years of happy retirement. And when my dad passed away, I brought my mother to Thailand 7 years ago. And when I went through her account, and I know her advisors in America because I work with them, but basically when I went through her account, I said, you got enough money to last the rest of your life with no problem. You probably can't spend as much of the money that you have at the end of this period. That's after 22 years of retirement. And the lesson that I want to say is that what you got to do is create your wealth engine, your wealth machine. And ultimately, that's either your business or that's your salary. And it's the gap between what you spend and what you earn. And every single month, you got a wealth machine. And it's if you make 100,000 and you spend 95, well, you've generated 5 in wealth. If you make 100,000 and you spend 60, you've generated 40,000 in wealth. So that's where I think is interesting about the audience that you serve, is that these people, oftentimes they don't think of that way, that they really have an ATM, a cash machine, a wealth machine, and it's better than being in business. Because in business, you have to take all of these risks and all that. But if you can carefully manage the salary that you get and keep your costs low and, do the types of stuff that you help people do, you can be like my mom. She's 85 and she still can support herself. So I just wanted you to talk a little bit about how you how you talk to people who come to you, like an engineer or a doctor, whatever. They're making good money. Maybe they're spending a little too much. How do you get them to appreciate that they have a wealth engine themselves?
I think it's the diversity of lifestyles. It's like sometimes we might think that how can we generate the way that we don't have to do anything, and then we still have cash growing up from the tree, something like that. But it's the fact that it's just not everyone fits to be business owner, just like you said, and someone they might found that their lifestyle would be fit if they being employee in some company, something like that, and there is no way that is wrong or right. Yeah, something like that. So it's just that for the jobbers, for the salaryman or something like that, I would say that they might sometimes like find themselves enjoying in doing that kind of job. It has low risk at least, and then it's sometimes that in the part of their job they might fall in love with something that they're doing, and it's good for them or something like that. But at this moment there are many instruments that can make we can like just let our money grow, and then we can go outside and do our best to do our job. It can go both way, and we don't have to choose one or another, something like that.
And if you look at all the people that you've talked with, the clients that you've served and all that, is there a common theme of problems that they face, things that they don't do that well? Like, what would you say is the top issues? And, let's talk about what you see, as those and kind of what your thoughts are on them.
The common the common problem or
Yep.
something.
Yeah.
I cannot think for the common problem for all of them, but they just might like what you said, like they sometimes when you're not know much about how the investment work, they might something have the imaginary about that investment is something that make everyone rich and quick. Just like, okay, we have to find some securities that we have to put our money now and then wait for about 10 seconds and we're going to be rich, and then that's all. It's like something that many people would think about investment at the first place, something like that. And then sometimes that when they really enter into the investment world, and there will be the fluctuation of the investment, some kind of risk happen, and then they will realize at the time that it's more than just expect the return, but you have to bear the risk that have to come together, something like that. And that might be how they figure out that they have something to do more just find the best securities in the world, but they have to work about their money management, to do the asset allocation, and do like look in the kind of broader view to manage their money and investment portfolio, something like that.
And how do you get clients? What are your methods for, that's one of the challenges. I've met a lot of advisors from Phenomena and around. And I know that, a number one challenge is how do I keep the flow of clients coming to me?
I see. I think it because I grow up in the digital world, like I grow up with the awareness that the online content is quite important to express who you are and what you are good at. So at the very first moment that I enter into the career, I also start to create my own Facebook page. And I set that to be the place that I will express about the personal finance knowledge. And I think it's the best way to communicate to the audience out there. And when they know that I have something that might help them, is the way that they contact me. And until now, I don't really have to reach out to the new clients by myself, because it's the referrals from my old clients. And also there are many clients who just like scrolling through my Facebook page or on my Instagram, and they want to ask me for more information or want me to be their personal financial advisor. And that's how it started to be the connection between me and my clients.
And what is your style? Like, some people, they like doing video, some people they like drawing, some people they like writing. What is your style?
I think at first I don't really know at the very first time that which way is the one that suits for me better. So I just bring myself to try everything. Like it first started from Facebook page, and then I go to Twitter. It's just like Facebook, but you have to use some word that in shorter version, like put to the point quickly, something like that. And then I started to do some pictures and then post it on Instagram. And now I have entered into the world of TikTok too. Like to get to know as much as I can do, something like that. But until now, I think like the platform that suits my lifestyle better is Twitter, and sometimes maybe TikTok, I guess, because to create content, this is not my main roles in doing my job. So I need to do in the platform that I don't need much time to spend on it, something like that.
And why? Let's talk about Twitter and TikTok. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing there and why you consider those maybe the prime areas.
For TikTok, for Twitter first, I think Twitter is the algorithm in Twitter is good for any informative information, and it doesn't really consider about how many followers that you have. It focused on the quality of the content that you bring it out to the platform. Is quite fair for the creators, I guess, at this time. And for a TikTok, it's just like Twitter, but just you have to make it into the kind of video content. Yeah. Because it's quite fair for the creator. Like if you still stuck in the Facebook platform, you might notice that the good quality of the content sometimes is not reached to the same amount of the viewers. Yeah, nowadays. So I think that's why Twitter and TikTok is my favorite platforms for me at the moment. Yeah.
And if a young person trying to do your style of job had to pick one, would it be Twitter or would it be TikTok?
I would suggest TikTok, because in doing our job as a financial advisor, we need to be known. We need to be trustworthy. We need to be recognized, I would say. Yeah. So for TikTok, you need to present your face while giving information, and that is you get many benefits from doing just one thing. Like the people who watch your videos recognize your face, recognize your style, and they know that you have informative information to give them.
And how do you capture people on Twitter? I know you can have links to say, go to this and, take my course or do this free thing or something like that. Is that the same thing on TikTok?
Oh, yes, but you need to have a certain amount of followers, maybe about more than 1K, 1,000. Yeah, and then you can put your link on your profile.
Okay, got it.
Let's watch Andrew Stotz TikTok from
Yeah,
America.
people have recommended that, and I went on TikTok and I looked at some really professional videos, and I thought, oh my God, I don't think
Yeah,
I can do
it
that.
will be so useful for many people. I suggest you to create your
All
channel.
right, I think I have a new advisor there for my TikTok.
Yeah.
Let me ask you another question, which is about when you're working as an advisor, is there a difference in the way Thai men and Thai women think about investing and the way they think about money?
I see no difference by gender, I guess.
Interesting. Yep.
Yeah. Did
Interesting.
you see and from your point of view, do you have the experience that makes you think that it might be some difference that occur?
I mean, I think one of my experiences, I taught for about 15 years in the Masters in Marketing program at Thammasat, and I always taught, finance. And first question I ask is, who loves finance and who hates finance? And almost everybody hates finance. So,
Mm,
but that could have just been because that was like a marketing group of people, so they just
mm,
weren't interested in finance. So, um, I know in America, what's common is that women sometimes, particularly, let's say my mom's generation, would give the responsibility of investing and money to the husband. Now,
I,
in some families, the women take care of it, and
mm,
then in my family, my mom took care of it all when in the beginning, and then later, as they got older, my dad did more of it. And then if I think about my sister is really good with money,
mm,
and she's really good with investing and really good with her business. And I don't know, I've seen some differences, but when I think about also Thailand's interesting because within CFA, Thailand is one of the leading countries in the world for women in finance.
mm.
And the leadership of financial companies in Thailand, there's a large number of women in it. So on that perspective, I would say that there's no difference from my perspective as an analyst and what I saw.
Yeah,
So
I think like before, like long time ago, it might be some difference because like some kind of culture, as you said, like the household, the wife will keep her money with her husband, something like that. But I
mm,
think like from this era is quite different. Like now we can reach to the knowledge of finance like equally. Mm.
what I would like to do is kind of wrap up with some question about like I was just on the video call with one of my students. She is in her 4th year at Mahidol.
Mm.
She was an intern and she worked with me at my office for a little while. And then she's in my valuation masterclass boot camp. And she's still not really sure about her career. And I think that she underrates herself a bit, like she's better than what she sees. And I was talking to her about that. But she definitely doesn't want to be an analyst. I can see, that's not her thing, and maybe even not fund manager. And I guess what would be great is if you could give your advice to somebody who is considering, following your path in your career. What would be some of the pieces of advice for someone that's graduating from university and thinking, I want to build a career in finance. I think
Mm.
this is where I want to go. What would be the steps that you would tell them to do or advise them?
I think I would suggest her that don't be too strict with something that is uh, don't let someone or anything tells you that what is the best for you unless you tell yourself. Like for me, I graduated from law school, and if the time I just let myself to enter into the career of laws, I wouldn't find myself be happy to doing my job right now. So I think if you want to try something, want to know yourself, I think just let yourself explore, like put yourself into maybe this boot camp.
Mm,
She can join this boot camp, right?
yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, just put yourself in various kind of experience so that you can learn yourself and know that what is best for you. Or maybe even for anyone, maybe someone who is working in some kind of career, it doesn't make that it have to be your eternal career forever. Just like if something tells you that you need to try something new, I think it's good for them to try something new.
And another question is, if I noticed that you have a link tree with a lot of things in it, and
You have done the good research.
yes, and I'm gonna put, if you don't mind, if I put that in the comments
Oh
here,
yeah, thank you.
and then
Nice.
if somebody wanted, if they like what you do, like what they've heard, what would be the best way for them to start connecting with you, to see what you're doing, to learn from you? What would be the best way?
I think you just choose the social platform that you like to use it the most, because I have spread my platform. You can use YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, in anywhere you will find me. So just sabay.
Okay.
You contribute to
Yeah.
to
All the links are there so people can check it out.
yeah. You check it out.
Let me ask you, the last question from me is, what's your number one goal for the next 12 months?
Next 12 months, my goals to finally go travel to abroad with my friends.
Where?
I have planned to go to Japan, Korea, and Australia.
Exciting. I'm sure 12 months from now, we can get you back in to discuss, and you can tell us about your travels.
Thank you. And how about you? What about your next 12 months?
Well, right now, one big thing is I'm working on launching some mutual funds.
Ooh, really?
Yes.
Wow, it's a very big news.
Yeah, so we have some that we're working on right now, and I think hopefully we'll launch at least the first one before the end of this year, and then I've got a couple more. And so they're creative in the sense that they're trying to solve a problem that I can't solve with my strategies at FINNOMENA, as an example. And so I see some opportunities there. So that's a big one. And then my other big goal is to get 500 students into my valuation masterclass boot camp.
Wow.
And that's what, when I launch, it's taking, it takes time. We've ranged between 20 and 80 students at different boot camp launches. We launch about 5 times a year. And I really feel like we've got great material. We're expanding around the world. And that's really what I see as kind of my big goal. And so there's one other thing that I'm working on, which is my newest project, which I call Profit Bootcamp, where I help mid-sized family businesses double their profits in 12 months.
Whoa.
And so I've launched that. I've started working on that and working with clients on that. And really, that's where my skills come together. Not only my investing skills, but my skills in management, my skills in communication, and my skills in finance, to make sure that what we're doing is driving the profits and ultimately the value of the business. So I got a lot of goals.
Definitely gonna happen. This talking to you is so inspiring. Like I think all the audiences out there will feel like the vibe that you send out to the people. Like I see the sparkling in your eyes, and when you tell about your goals, it always include many people who will get the benefits from your knowledge. I really respect in what you are doing.
I appreciate that. And I just want to, thank everybody who's attended. We've got Amo, who attended, and appreciate that, and made a little comment there. And also we've got Muya, who is in Kenya. So it's great to see you, and appreciate that you've enjoyed the conversation. And this is Akola, which I believe, I'm guessing, is Nigeria.
You have so many fans from around the world.
Well, we definitely a lot of students in the boot camp that have come from around, particularly Nigeria. We've had some students from Kenya. We've had a student from Ethiopia, and we continue to expand and try to, get more students and share the wealth. What I really want to do is help young people who want to build a career in finance to do so. I did see that Amo had a question, so let's just see if they got a question. Feel free to type that question in. Let's see. And Yeah. Here's Tirapop. In fact, I'm going to be talking with Tirapop tomorrow. In his case, we're talking about family business, and he's an advisor to families. So that's an interesting one. Let's see if we've got that question coming in.
We're
Anyways,
waiting for you, Amo, Kofi, Mr.
yes, exactly. We're holding the show. Let's see. I think, one of the things that I also love to do is teach ethics in finance. And so I start my class for bachelor's, undergrad students in finance at Chula next week. And I just finished my students' master's in finance at Chula also. And so, I just love to help people think about how to build an ethical career in finance, which is great. Oh, Cameroon. Oh, sorry. Not too far away, but yes, appreciate it. Okay, let's see. We got, here we go. How do I become a financial analyst as a university student who's not studying anything related to that? Well, I think the first thing you should talk about just briefly is how you went from law
Oh yeah.
to finance. So why don't you give your thoughts about how you can make that transition?
For me, it was when I was in the very last year in the university. Like I got a chance to be an intern in an international law firm, and by doing the job at the time, I figured out that even I grow up and do any kind of job in the law career, I still do it because of the money. So it would be great if I have some knowledge about how to manage money wisely, something like that. And it's just the starting point that I know that I interested into doing some kind of job that get myself still learn in laws and finance altogether. And then like a job of doing in financial consultant pops up, something like that. Yeah. So in by transition, in transition of being a law student to become a someone who works in finance career, I think by getting an exam for the license is important because by getting the license, you manage yourself to have enough knowledge into to get the license, and by the time you also get the license and you can start doing job. And another thing is to tell the people how good you are, and that's why I start doing my Facebook page. Like you have to do it all together.
Got it. And I was, Amo, I'll just explain. One time I was invited to Hong Kong to speak to a bunch of graduating students and about careers in finance. And, I was flying in from my university where I was working on my PhD in China. And I flew in like at the last minute, and I got to the event and I sat down. I was just full of energy. So I just like brought all kinds of things to them. But at the end, the students came up to talk to me, and one student, I just never forget this student, because she came up to me and she says, I work in accounting, I studied accounting, but I want to work in finance. But, I heard it's hard to make that transition. And I just wanted to get your opinion. And I said, who told you it's hard? And she was like, well, somebody said it was hard. And I said, so what? You're going to build your career because somebody said something? Forget it. If you want to do it, learn it. School is just one part of your life. So, so that's also my advice, Amo, is just, if you want to do it, then start learning it, and don't let school or anything like that hold you back.
Yeah, and I something like you said, someone might think that once you decided to enter into some kind of school, and then after that in your life you have to be that. You have to be in that kind of career, and you cannot just make a transition into something else. But it like the school that you once entered cannot decide what is going to be in your life. Yeah, it's about something that you're going to do after that.
And Amos says, where do I start? And I would say the first thing is go online and start reading and looking at finance and learning about it. And then also check out CFA, because that is something that's valuable. Talk, if you're in university, check out if your university is participating in the CFA Research Challenge.
Hmm.
That's another thing. And if they are, make sure that you're participating in that. And yeah, so those are some places to start. And of course, don't forget to consider coming into the Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp, and
Mm-hmm.
just reach out to me and I can explain more.
Thank you.
Supernat says, this is one of my interns is asking, what license did you get? When you talked about license, what were you
Yeah,
talking about?
it's a license called IC license, investment consultant, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it's in, I don't know, there might be different kind of system in each country, but
Mm.
but in Thailand, if you want to be someone who can suggest anyone about the investment instrument, you might have to start with the license, with the IC license. Yeah.
Yep. And in Thailand, like most countries, there's a regulator that's basically trying to regulate the communication of investment advice. And so the license is different from, let's say, getting a certification like CFA. It
Hmm.
doesn't give you a license; it just certifies that you have a certain amount of knowledge and
Hmm.
as a chartered financial
Yeah,
analyst.
just like the question from Mr. Akola.
Mm,
Well, yeah, that the certification is not something necessary to do the job legally, but it's something that might tell something about your profession, like how good of your knowledge about finance that you can pass the exam. But it's not everything. It's not something that make you can do your job legally. Yeah.
yep, yep. And then just to mention, Muya says, any sponsorship for finance bootcamp? Well, yes, I'm going to show you that in just a second when we wrap up. But for anybody that's interested in the bootcamp, just reach out to me on LinkedIn or any other places. And I think we're going to wrap up there. Do you have any parting words for the audience?
Parting words.
Ending words.
Oh,
What's some
ending
words of
words.
wisdom?
Oh, have a good day.
That's the best way to live. Have a good day. Yep. All right. We're going to end there. And I want to thank you for coming on the show. I'm going to talk to you in just a minute. So I'm going to take you out of the show, but I really appreciate spending the time with you and learning about, what you're doing. And I think it's an inspiration for young people who are trying to enter into the world of finance. Here you can see a lot of examples of something very different, for instance, than what I do. So fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Nice to see you all
Uh,
here.
yep.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Take care. All right. Wow, that was amazing. All right. For those people who are asking about sponsorship, Careers in Finance is brought to you by Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp, and you get an extra $100 off if you use these coupon codes live, or if you're a student, you get the student price plus $100 off. And just go to valuationmasterclass.com/bootcamp or scan the QR code. And hopefully we'll see you in the next bootcamp, which starts in December. And that is a wrap on Careers in Finance, as we just heard from Fa, which is